Yo, yo, yo. Okay, our beloveds. We are wanting to make the yo-yo go up and down and up and down. You have highs and you have lows, and we have spoken of this before, where you cycle into patterns of vibrations, roughly 3 days of positive movement, and then 3 days of getting stuck again, having to work through more processes, and how once you get into that flow, you honestly almost don't even notice it anymore because it just simply is the flow of your lives. There's no judgment of good or bad, easy or hard, light or dark. It just simply is. This is where I find myself today, and I know I must simply get through this particular issue so I can go on to my next lesson. And when you approach life from such a simple perspective, meaning you just simply attack or address every concern, problem, issue, roadblock, pothole, whatever you want to call it, if you address them one at a time, you will simply move forward easier because you are in a vibration of flow versus judgment and resistance. It's pretty simple when you live it or feel it. Describing it is one thing, but actually inhabiting the world where you live this way, meaning that it just simply is your current perspective. There is no anger at what the universe is putting you through. There is no resistance to the harder times. It simply is an acceptance of, oh, this is where I find myself today, and let's see how I get through it. When you go into such a state, you will find that life feels like it flows easier because you simply live in the now is the best way to explain it. You work through each tied knot by untying it, and then the next tied knot and the next one. It simply is a challenge, a puzzle of sorts, which you are forced to navigate to get to the end of the tunnel where you see the light shining so brightly, which is calling you forward. And so many of you, our beloveds, are in this flow now. Now, it does not mean that when you have harder times that you are not sad or struggling, but you are no longer blaming the universe or anyone else, for that matter, for bringing you here, for bringing you to a painful place. You simply accept it as a place where you need to go through in order to move forward. So this means that your place on the spiral of life is moving ever so slowly forward into new dimensions. So we want to give you a visual of a record and a record player. When you look at a record, playing on a record player, it is a flat plane upon which you reside. And so when you are stuck in the same lesson, you are on the same plane. It is great because it really is simply a two-dimensional existence. It is the x-axis and the y-axis, and that is where you reside, which means that you will continue to spiral out on that record until you are at the same place or alignment to experience the same lesson. However, when you are more of a multi-dimensional being, meaning that you recognize the laws or the rules that exist within the universe and which govern your path and process, when you begin to approach each place on the record as an opportunity to grow versus frustration that you're having to deal with the same shit once again, When you have a healthy multidimensional approach to its purpose and meaning, you are then able to move into what we would call a three-dimensional plane, which is no longer a plane we recognize, but you are now moving along that same two-dimensional location of the spiral. But as you learn and grow, you begin to go to a higher place within that box. And then you will be on that plane, if you will, the two-dimensional plane, going through the spiral or cycle of life until you have mastered that lesson. And then you once again rise up to a new point on the Z-axis to get to an additional level of learning. It is similar to a video game where you continue to play the same avatar and you either continue to die or attempt to get out of the particular level that you are in to get to the next level until you completely crack the code. You are stuck at that level, and then once you crack it, you go to the next level and you are stuck there. It's similar to being in an apartment building or a hotel building that has multiple floors that are either connected by the stairwell or by an elevator or potentially even an escalator, but those details don't matter. We just wish to explain to many of you who are moving through this gauntlet pretty rapidly what it looks like. You are no longer on a two-dimensional plane learning your lessons. You are now on a three-dimensional plane, meaning that you are on the same spiral of life placement, but at a different Z-axis, moving to a higher place in your ascensionary process. So try to visualize yourselves, if you can, to see where you find yourselves. Just close your eyes and ask Spirit to show you energetically somehow, and you will also learn which clairs you have when you do this. Ask the universe to show you. Show me where I was at the time that COVID began, and show me where I am now. And then pay attention to the information that you receive, because that is all that you need to know about your progress, your growth of the COVID lesson, which is to go within, to go without. And what we mean by going without is to go without your Starbucks coffee or latte, your pedicures, manicures, hair colors, haircuts, fancy dinners out, fancy travels, new cars, whatever it is. You are learning to go within, and by going within, you are learning that you can go without, because those things that used to purchase your happiness, you're beginning to realize it was a diversion. All it is really is an addictive nature, an endorphin high. Many of you run, many of you eat, many of you cook delicious meals that satisfy that inner part of you, and many of you shop. It is your internal coping mechanism. But oftentimes the best thing to do is to go within, to figure out what will satisfy that particular longing part within you, and then the choices that you make thereafter will really be based on satisfying your soul and not your desire to feel loved or approved of or seen or worthy, or just to simply distract yourself from that which does not feel good. You are learning. And we are teaching you to go within and to begin to connect to those messages that we give you. And for those of you who are Christians and wish to participate in a bit of a tarot approach, we would recommend that you do Bible tarot, that you close your Bible, that you set the intention that the divine, that your Creator would guide you today or assist you in the moment with a message from the divine, and that you would then open up your Bible to any page as you feel led, and then to randomly put your finger on any Bible verse and then read it. The tarot is all around you in so many different forms. And if you can find a way that connects with you deeply and fits within your spiritual belief system, then do it. Begin to live in the now by pressing on the elevator button saying, I want to go from the first floor to the second floor. And ideally, I'd like to get to the penthouse because I would like to see what the view is from that vantage point. Maybe even to go up on the roof and feel the wind blowing through your hair as you sit there and watch the sunrise and the sunset and the clouds just moving through the sky. It is your desire to slow down, to be present in the here and the now, and to no longer give away your time and effort in exchange for money. And when you begin to realize that there are other ways of supplementing your income, and if you but listen to that intuitive knowing, you will find these answers within you, deep within you, to help you to transition from the energy of the patriarchy into the energy of the divine feminine, the age of Aquarius, of unconditional love. You will get there one step or one floor at a time. Just trust in the process and don't try to speed it up too fast or to get to your end destination too soon, because the end destination is the time when you have established or designed to transition. So enjoy the view out of the window and the smells and the textures and the tastes and the people and the experiences, whichever they are and however they present themselves, to allow you to trust in the process that you are now in, which is a process to move you from point A to point B with certainty and with purpose, but not as designed by you, but by your spirit team and the universe. It is so, it is so, it is so, and so it is. Namaste.